Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video, and today we're going to do a character guide on Layle. So Layle is a launch specialist. He does do some unique things apart from other launchers, so we'll kind of talk about that in the showcase here. But in this video, we're going to look at his artifacts, his spheres, and then we will do that showcase so you guys can see how Layle works. For his force enhancements, he's got the standard force enhancement, so once again, it's just however much you want to invest in the character. 30 is obviously the best because he's going to do more damage on all of his skills. So it's really up to you. I only went to 10 on mine because I'm not planning to use my Layle a lot. But eventually, down the road, if I decide to use them, I can always up that to 30 if I need to, right? So for his artifacts, you want to go 3 attack 108 and then his C50, which is Crystal Bearer boost. So he's going to get attack 108 and then basically his Crystal Bearer boost will give all stats. You also could combo with Max Brave 330 if you wanted to. Like you could just do a straight up attack 108, Max Brave 330 if you needed to. That's totally up to you. But just any combination of attack 108, the C50, and the Max Brave is going to be your best bet. But I'd prioritize attack just because you want him to do more damage, right? Okay. So then we're going to look at his spheres here. So now for spheres, he's got an A, a D, and an E slot here. So for the A slot, you really want to boost his attack if you can. Now, what I would recommend, there are some generic spheres you could throw on that would increase his attack and brave damage, things like that. Layle also does weakness damage, so you could use like Rydia or a weakness damage sphere here if you wanted to. But I recommend using, there are a couple of like launch specific spheres. And since Layle is all about launching, it's really the best place to use it. Layle's own sphere actually isn't that great on him because it's just a max brave up and you'd rather get attack. So in my opinion, like Kais is probably like the best one here. So when you're joining a chain attack, which is attacking during a launch, it gives him an attack up. And if you have the full Kais, it's a 10%. I just have the refined one, which is a 4%. But to me, something like that's a good one to use on Layle because there aren't many characters that can use it, and it's an attack is going to be good for him. So I would go ahead and put like Kais there. I think that's a very, very good one. I think Noctis also has a launch sphere you could utilize here if you wanted to. So that's totally up to you, right? On the D slot, this is just really basic. Just use one of these generic D slots that is going to boost attack. So like Lise, Ash, Hope, anything like that I think would be fine here. So I just have a Whis one on there, or sorry, a Lise one, not a Whis one. I'm going into Dragon Ball mode here. So I have Lise on there for just a little bit of an attack. And then the E slot, pretty much if you can improve his attack, I mean, if you wanted to give him like a debuff utility, you could pick a debuff from an E sphere and give him that. But I would prefer to go attack on him. And so he is a magic damage dealer, so I feel like Kefka is a really good slot in here because we're getting magic attack up. Because he does weakness damage, you could also use Pain. And Pain Sphere is refinable right now. So if you don't have good E slots, you could throw Pain on there. I think Pain would be just fine on Layle. So there you go. That's the artifacts and spheres. Let's jump into a showcase. And Layle is actually not that bad to play. He's pretty easy to play. You just have to understand him. And what I'm going to do in this showcase in particular is I am going to utilize, because with Cam's combo, having launching is really good. So we're actually going to use Layle's burst phase as the damage dealing burst phase. In the Cam combo in this video. So we're going to try to get that going for you guys. The other thing I need to shout out here is if you're running Layle, you should be most of the time running Pandemonium Summon. Pandemonium Summon gives you more damage during launching, which is what Layle's about. So anytime you're running a launch team comp, I would always bring the Pandemonium Summon. Okay, so let's go ahead and hop in here. We will not need a friend. Well, sure, we can bring a Garnet, because just to bring her in to make them look better, right? Let's do that. All right. So this is one of those showcases where we might actually end up killing the boss. So there you go. So what I want to do here is before I set up the Cam combo, I do want to just go through all of Layle's base kit. And then we'll kind of end and we'll like rush in and do the big combo, right? And then we'll see how much damage we can do there. So these enemies are pretty speedy. They're just getting a bunch of turns here. Okay. It's like they're darn near just killing us. We haven't even had a chance to do anything yet. Fantastic. Okay. So Layle's got a few things going on. So just keep in mind that he's always basically launching with what he does. But what you want to do is you want to typically open with the LD, which is Geo Impact, just to make sure his overhead is going. Now, he does have his overhead going right away, so I guess you wouldn't have to open with it. But we will open with it here. Now, when you select the LD, it's going to have you select a party member. So the LD's got quite a few things going for it. So what it's going to do is, one is it's going to put Layle's turn directly after the party member you select, so he will follow them up. it is going to launch the target and it's going to make other targets launchable. Basically, Layle's LD, his EX, and his 15, which is Field Burst, they are all auto launch attacks and will make the other targets launchable. So just keep that in mind. Energy gain, it has a little bit of a dependent on it. We'll talk about that in a minute. The other thing that the LD is going to do is, so he's going to have his LD buff, which is called Shining Cheek. And it gives a lot of just like generic stats, right? But what it's going to do is during launching, it's going to add launch damage. It's going to make enemies easier to launch. And the big thing that it does is it makes it so that anytime a launch happens, every character participates in the launch no matter what the turn order. Normally, both characters would have to be like up before the enemy, but now even if the enemy's following Layle, like all the characters will follow up. So you really want to maintain this LD buff. So in this situation, what I could do is I could take Layle and I can put him right after Cam if I want to. So you can see Layle just jumps in, pops in behind Cam. He's going to do Geo Impact here, which will launch in battery. Let that go. Okay. And then we can go ahead and attack through. And then Layle is enabling more launch damage, and Pandemonium is enabling more launch damage there as well, right? Okay, so Cam got paralyzed, so that's why he wasn't participating in that launch. That was kind of unfortunate there. But the enemies just jumped us and attacked us right away, right? Something you can do too is before launch, you could use his AA. Like if your Brave is low, you could say use his AA like this. And then that's going to give you a little bit more battery, like going into the launch, which is really helpful, right? So now, from his LD, he gets an HP attack called Geo Impact. This is just a small battery with auto launch, so you could just pop that off at any time if you need an auto launch. But we're going to go ahead and use Field Burst here. Now, this enemy here is already launchable. We'll do the non-launchable enemy, I guess. But Field Burst is going to just be an AoE attack. It launches the targets, and then we'll make the other target launchable for the next turn. Gives himself a really good max brave up, and that's going to put a really important debuff on the enemies called Force. The reason why this debuff is important is if the... So let's go ahead and just do the attack here. Okay, so this is going to put the Force debuff on the enemies. You can see we're all participating in the launch, having a good time. Okay. With that Force debuff, energy gain won't normally guarantee a launch, but if the Force debuff is on, then it actually does initiate a launch and it delays. So energy gain is really good. You just have to make sure that Force debuff is on the enemies, right? So Penelo here, sure, we'll do a little bit of charging. We got to get our HP regen on because Cam actually took some damage. So we have to get him to regen some health here on his turns. And then, sure, let's go ahead. We'll just put this call on, and then I'll probably just do Penelo's LD, and then we'll kind of move on from there. Okay, bounce them back a little bit. Let's go and do the LD here. Actually, Penelo's going to get back-to-back turns, which is fine. We'll just do an attack and then kind of move on from there. Get the Cam's turn to let him regen some health here. Okay, so we'll go here. I guess we'll intercession because it's free. So that delay is really useful. So like what makes energy gain so good is that when you're delaying and launching, that's awesome because you're pushing the enemies back, giving your characters a chance to be in front to help in the launch. But Layle's going to enable them all to participate in the launch anyways, which is really good. So sure, we'll attack here, do the launch. So you can see we're launching quite a bit in this team comp. Just because Layle's enabling the party to do that. Okay. All right, so now we've got Cam up here. Cam, what are we going to do with you? We'll just do Cam's LD here, I think. Sure. Alright, and then this is a good spot to show off energy gain. So we're going to do it here. This should delay the enemies back. We'll make sure that they have that Force. Yep, the Force debuff is on. And they do have it at start. So you don't have to worry about, like, working to apply it, but you just want to make sure you upkeep it, right? We do have the EX up, but let's go ahead and we'll show energy gain here so we can see the delay, but this should be a launch with a one-turn delay. We'll do that. Yep, the enemies got pushed back. And notice that we're all participating in the launch, even though Cam is like behind an enemy, right? We're still participating in the launch, which is good. Okay. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do the EX. So the EX here is once again a party battery. So Layle does have a bit of battery, which is really good for a launch character because you want a battery so you can do the HP dumps during the launch, right? So it's going to do an AoE attack on there. It's going to extend his own buffs, and that's going to launch and make the other targets launchable. But then he's going to get a special buff from this called Clavation Heart, and it's just going to be party attack and max brave up. And then party will trigger launches faster. So it just helps you to more quickly get to the launch, and then just some more magic attack and max brave buffs for himself. So this is really good because it's just know that when you're pressing Layle's buttons between the LD and the EX, it's making the enemies easier to be launched for the rest of the party. And then once again, if you're doing any of his other launch attacks, it's gonna make the other enemy that you're not targeting launchable. So like you can pretty much always have something launchable for every party member at any time, pretty much if you play it right? So like here, this right enemy isn't launchable, but the left enemy is. So I know I have a launch target with Cam. All right, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start setting up the Cam combo because I pretty much showed off everything. I will explain the BT effect. So the BT effect for Layle basically allows the party to trigger launches faster, which is part of what his kit does, right? Gives him HP damage up, brave gains up, and then party battery. So it's not like the biggest BT effect, but it does help his kit out. Now, so here's what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and I do kind of want to do the EX, but sure, we're going to just get the BT effect for Cam up here and kind of just get that going. My Layle's in an odd place because I pulled his burst just randomly like a long time ago when it first came out. I wasn't really going for it. And I wasn't building Layle. So I actually had sold his burst for BT tokens, but I still have the burst passive. So my Layle right now has his EX equipped, but still has the burst. So we're going to use his burst. Keep in mind, like when you're looking at my Layle's damage, he's a very minimally built Layle. So Layle fully invested can definitely put up a lot better numbers than what you're going to see in this video. All right, so with Pinello now, we're gonna get us charged up, basically the rest of the way here. Do this. Sure, let's take the free attack here. Sure, we'll take the free attack with the launch. Okay. All right, so we've got that. Now, keep in mind that the thing where, like, all the party members participate in the launch, that's only when Layle initiates, not when my other members do. So that's why the delay can still be in effect, because it'll matter for your other characters. All right, so let's go ahead and charge up a couple more here. And then what's really nice about using Layle for the Cam combo is you can strategically put Layle to immediately follow Cam, so that once Cam's got his force time up, Layle can be the very next character to act, which is actually really nice. Some of you saw some of my videos. It can be really frustrating, like the turn order stuff that happens when you're trying to properly set this up. All right, so let's go ahead and knock this guy back with Pinello. Oh, shoot, I should have brought in Garnet there. That's okay. Do I want to get Garnet in? Should I stall out one more turn? Nah, we won't worry about it. We're just showing it off here. So Layle now, what we can do with him is we do want to get Ice Enchant on. So I think we're going to do that. Let's just use his AA. That'll just give us some battery and some buffs. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and we're going to use Kurasame Call here because we need Ice Enchant for this to work. So that's one thing. It's the thing with Layle, though, if you're using him as the burst character, you could use Cater or a different Ice Enchant. It doesn't have to be Kurasame, as long as you can get ice on him in some way. And then what we're going to do now is we are going to LD. And we are going to choose Cam so that Layle will go right behind Cam. Okay, so now this is going to pop off. Okay. We'll do all of our launchy launch attacks here. Alright, and then Cam is basically just going to set up his force and we're going to be good to go. And then we'll kind of see how much damage we're doing here. So Cam, yeah, I don't think I need to set up anything else. I mean, I guess I could use Cam's AA. That won't hurt. And then I think I'll use Cam, the call I have on Cam also. Which I just gave him a Brave Gain call. So we'll put Charlotta on, sure. The more help we can get with Brave Gains, the better when we're doing these launch combos, right? Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and put the Force Time on. And then we're going to let Layle do a burst. And we're going to see how much damage we can do, how much we can build this up. It should be like, you know, the standard 80% up with every attack here with Layle. Everything should pretty much be launching. Okay. Alright, so Layle, let's go ahead and hop into your burst here. Whoops, I had it right here. Okay. Once again, this is a very non-invested burst. I don't even have the burst weapon equipped, right? So we just want to make sure we're launching with every attack. What I might do is I might actually try to save like the stronger attack for the end when we have a higher multiplier. So we'll see here. We'll pop that down. We're launching. We're doing ice damage. They have paralyze on. We've got everything set up. Should be an 80% gain here. 81. Yep, we'll take it. And then now we just go to town with the cam combo. Make sure we're always launching or attacking a launchable enemy, right? Let's try this HP attack Geo Impact. So this should launch. Yep. And we're getting the follow-ups there. Perfect. So yeah, every attack with Layle should be pretty okay to go here. I think everything he's going to do is going to launch, provided they have that force debuff on. So no matter who we attack here with any attack, we should be fine. Let's go ahead and let's energy gain here. Put the delay down. Now keep in mind with energy gain, the delay is only going to apply to the enemy you target. It won't get both of them. So keep that in mind when you're choosing the enemy there. Okay. Alright, and then let's go ahead. We've got 2 attacks, so I guess we'll field burst. And then we'll use his LD, and then we'll do his burst attack. And then what we'll do, I guess, is we'll just finish out the force time. Now, my Layle, because it's not a green BT, he doesn't have nearly as many turns during his burst phase. So we could time it differently where we go into it a little bit later so we can get the big burst attack off. But this will be fine. Sure, let's go ahead and do the LD now. And we will put Layle, I guess, right behind Pinello. Because we want to get him up sooner. Because he's got the ice damage. Well, actually, with his Kurasame on, Pinello should also have Ice Enchant. So Pinello, I think, should get the full 80%. And there should be a launchable enemy when she comes up. So we should be able to kind of keep it going here, I think. As long as we can keep them launching and we keep the ice damage going. The nice thing with Layle, because he's enabling the whole party to launch, which is why Selfie's so popular for this, is that like you don't have to be in a burst phase. Every character can be launching, and you're keeping the percentages up even when you're not in burst. All right, so let's see the burst attack here. And then once again, when we come out of this, this is going to make our our chain attack damage do a little bit better, right? Our launch damage. Okay. So that attack won't launch. So a 20 mil burst phase, but once again, very minimally invested. Didn't get the full, like there's like 2 or something less attacks we're missing because we're not green there. So don't worry about that. Our percentage is still very high. I think I could intercession, but I don't know. Should I? I don't know that we'd launch twice. Let's just do an HP attack. Okay, and we'll keep the launching going here. We'll finish out the force time and kind of see where we're at. But these enemies definitely won't be dead. This is a very minimally invested turn here. We probably could summon, though. So sure, let's pop a summon here. Okay, and then the EX should launch, so we can use the EX. Let's go ahead and do that. So yeah, if you're someone, so like Layle definitely is not a bad character, especially if you are like a newer player and you don't have Selfie, you don't have Kais, you don't have any of those launchers, and you want to do the cam combo, Layle's going to probably be one of your better options for doing this. Just if you go and fully invest him and set it up a little bit, he is going to be looking really, really good here. So with Cam, actually we need to do Cam's EX yet. We haven't done that yet. Let's do that. On the launchable enemy, so we're still getting up to our 800% gauge here. Once again, we didn't need the burst time for the whole thing because Layle's enabling it. There we go. So we're at 818. And it looks like Pinello's going to get the final blow. And she does have an EX up, so that's perfect. So let's go and do this. 800% intercession. Here we go. Should be a lot of damage here. Yeah, 1.3 mil on the taps here. 1.7 mil. So, I mean, a 14 mil launch. I mean, we did almost kill an enemy here by the end of force time. So, we did pretty good there considering this is a super minimally invested Layle. We didn't get the most out of that force time. We could have done a lot more damage there. So, anyways, guys, let me know what you think of Layle. Hope this guide helps you all out. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you all on the next one.